This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Part 2. Crafting Engaging Lessons. The third circle. A good teacher, like a good entertainer, first must hold his audience's attention. Then he can teach his lesson. Hendrik John Clark. The power of a lesson cannot be maximized without incorporating a masterful presentation. It's like riding a bike with flat tires. You may be doing everything right, but you're working harder than necessary and getting subpar results. When you have crafted an engaging lesson for your material, it's like coasting downhill on a perfectly tuned bicycle with two fully inflated tires. Everything seems easier because the students are drawn into your material as if by some magical or magnetic force. The Teach Like a Pirate system I presented in Section 1 lays the foundation for building these magical and magnetic results. All 6 of those chapters are critically important to effectively reaching and teaching your students. This section focuses on the how of creating engaging lessons. It is a toolbox of strategies you can draw on to energize your lessons and engage your students. After all, it's one thing to know you should engage your students. Actually, being engaging requires planning, preparation, and presentation. Picture a triple Venn diagram. The overwhelming majority of professional development workshops focus on the bottom 2 circles, content and technique and method. Without question, these areas are critical. If you don't have the content element of your lesson in place, you are either just entertaining or babysitting. My assumption is that you are an expert in your subject's content. If not, put this book down and go learn your subject. Come back when you're ready to present a lesson. I'm also making the assumption in this discussion that through your educational program and professional development, you have an array of instructional techniques and methods at your disposal. I'm sure you've been to the Think, Pair, Share workshop and the Jigsaw session. You probably learned about scaffolding and SADAI strategies, attended the literacy training to learn how to build academic vocabulary, and you probably already know the benefits of graphic organizers. Those are all good tools and techniques. The third circle, presentation, is the critical element most professional development seminars and training materials miss. Nobody is talking to teachers about the third circle, and I'm trying to change that forever. I'm on a one-man mission, traveling far and wide to spread the word about the existence and importance of presentation. I have an evangelical zeal for this message. Welcome to the barbecue. If you come to my house for a dinner and you see me out at the barbecue, you have every reason to be excited. You can expect to get a well-prepared and delicious meal. But imagine your surprise if we sat down at the table and I presented you with a plate that was empty with the exception of a completely raw steak. This will be wildly inappropriate. If I were really going to serve you dinner, I'd ask ahead of time if you even like steak. If you don't, I would provide alternatives. If you do like steak, I would season and marinate the meat ahead of time to allow the flavors to soak in. I would preheat the barbecue by turning on the propane. Sorry, I know I just lost you coal-only fanatics. And then baste it and turn it until cooked to your specifications. Even after that, I still just wouldn't serve it to you without providing various side dishes and a beverage to help wash it down. After finishing, I would let you indulge your sweet tooth by providing a scrumptious dessert. That's a meal. Obviously, we can't serve people raw steak on a plate. However, that's exactly what some educators serve their students every day. Teachers like this walk into class with their raw, unseasoned content, plop it down in front of their kids and say, "Eat it!" They don't bother to provide a side dish, and the dessert is way too much trouble. No wonder their students act as if learning is a form of torture that must be endured as they choke down their lessons. The presentational strategies described in this book that are designed to hook your students and draw them into your lesson are like the seasoning and marinade. You have to prepare these elements ahead of time. You can't just walk into class with a raw, unseasoned steak. After you've carefully seasoned your lesson and soaked it in student engagement sauce, you still have to cook it. I don't put my steak down on a coal grill. I preheat it. When you drop your steak on a coal grill, nothing happens. When you drop your steak on a preheated grill, it sizzles. I want my content to sizzle when I drop it. You can do this by creating mystery, curiosity, anticipation, and buzz. You have to turn up the heat. In other words, you have to bring energy to your lesson through enthusiasm and showmanship. You have to sell it.